Hello, everyone. Thank you very much for joining. And if you haven't done it already, this is a very small channel, so please do subscribe. Do the usual that every other person in this platform tells you to do. But without further ado, I'm just going to give you a little bit of an abridged version of how the process is, especially for a officer candidacy, or in this case, called direct commissioning officer pipeline for the Navy. Now, just want to give you a heads up. I'm not speaking on behalf of the Navy. I'm just giving you some pointers that I was not given myself. I'll try to keep this brief so then you understand a little bit of how the process goes when you're trying to answer um, the recommissioning process for at least the Navy. Of course, if you like this content and if you do subscribe and like, and if you like my approach, then I will do the best that I can to get more content to you, maybe get some other DCOs or from different branches. So for without further ado, let's just go ahead and dive into it. So firstly, one, I decided to join the Navy Reserves as a public affairs officer. That's what I am now. Uh, through the direct commissioning officer, and usually folks that do that have some sort of education background, so a master's, bachelor's, or advanced degrees usually do best in this particular type of process. Now, do note as well that I did do some time as an enlisted member of the United States Marine Corps, and that my background does match specifically to what a public affairs officer does. I'm not going to go into detail for OPSEC reasons of what public affairs officers do. If you do want to learn more, there's plenty of information up there, but I just want to let you know that that's what I did for myself, and just this is for your benefit if you're interested. All right, but just note that I did do this early on, and whichever particular type of job you want to do within the branch of service that you prefer, there's going to be an application process and there's going to be a vetting process, and ultimately, you may or may not get selected. And in my case, I was rejected 3 times. Well, 2 times. 2 times I was rejected, and I got selected in the third. So just note that there will be people that including yourselves maybe, that may get rejected multiple times, but just know that it does get better if you continue to learn and you continue to network and you continue to overcome those particular hurdles. So let's go from the beginning. I went to my recruiter and I decided, hey, I want to join the Navy. This is the job that I want to do. I know what type of job that I want. I've done my research. I know that I have the experience to do it, and I need to do it. Now, this was 4 years ago, 3 years ago, actually. 3.5 years ago, 2.5 years ago. Sorry, I'm going back and forth, but 2.5 years ago, I knew I wanted to do this particular role, and then went through a couple of recruiters. They, got me to go through the initial process, filing the application, do my security screening, and then ultimately I had to go through the maps to make sure that I was medically ready. Ultimately, unfortunately, I had to do this twice. So the first video that I have in this platforms about this uh, had to do with me going through the process the first time, and I had different hairstyle and everything, but I went through it another time a couple of years later because there's only a certain amount of time that your medical exam is active for at MAPS. So I went through MAPS at the end of the day and went through it as an officer. It's different. You don't go, you don't sign anything. You just do your medical, get out, and then you just continue your process through your recruiter. Of course, if you have any questions about this particular part of the process, just let me know in the comments, and I'll be able to, just go through it with you a little bit, step by step. But for now, I'm just gonna just go through the process, period. So once you do that, assuming that you have your maps all good, you go through it, don't have any disqualifications, then you'll go through working with getting through the appraisal process, again, depending on different type of officer you want to be. But for my side, I had to be appraised by 3 different officers, maybe several times, and they eventually gave me scores that will eventually be assessed during the board process and the selection process. So once That is done. You do all of that, and now you wait. You may wait 6 months, you may wait a month, you may wait 2 months, depending on when the board is. So if you've already submitted things for your board, then the board will look at it when they convene, and if they like what they see, you will get selected, and then you'll game. All right. Now I didn't go through any of the very intrinsic details of what it partakes or it entails into this process. So I'm not gonna go through this process with you right now. Again, if you do want to, let me know. But the next step is, of course, you got selected. In my case, I got selected late last year, and then ultimately, because it was last year, I had to wait a little bit longer for things to get through to the system. But once things got through to the system, the commissioning was approved by Congress as an officer, so then it was time for me to commission. At this point, it was about 3 months between getting selected and do my oath of office. Once I got my oath of office, then it was up to me to work with my recruiter to get through the gaining process. And the gaining process just literally means just getting into the system so you get paid. And once you get into the system to get paid, then you're official. Then you're officially an officer. And in this case, now I'm an ensign, and I'm just going through now the particulars of what that means. And again, if you want to learn more, then let me know, and I'm happy to share that with you. And you want to know, keep repeating it because it's up to you for you to know and to learn how it is. But it's in order for me to do that, I need you to tell me so that I can do that. Ultimately, just to keep this brief, the particular aspect in the process is going to be as difficult or as easy as you want. Your experience obviously counts, and there's several factors that's going to lead to your selection. However, uh, it, at the end of the day, you just got to be patient. You got to understand. You got to go through the motions of the military, and there are ways to actually get to do your career the way that you want to do it, but you need to be able to be patient in the process. All right. Thank you so much for tuning into this very short video. If you want to know more, let me know, and I will do more of these. However, I need the interest from you because, as you know, these are not easy to do, but I'm happy to give you the knowledge and being able to do that with the constraints of, kind of how to do things while you're part of the military. I am now, and of course, there's certain guidance that I was given, so I will not do so. This is me giving you perspective, giving you advice as a mentor. Consider me your mentor. Consider me your counselor. Consider me your potential, advocate. And I'll go into more details of how to eventually find your mentor during this process and how you could be much more successful. If you want to, please give a like, subscribe, and maybe we'll get some more in the future. If not, then it is what it is. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time.